Hopefully we're going to have some graded racing at Warwick on Monday. There is an inspection on Sunday at 3 p.m. I think it's plenty of rain there today, so it's going to be testing if it is on. Hopefully the temperatures will be warm enough to allow the meeting to go ahead. It's obviously already been moved once from Saturday. It looks a good card. Obviously, 2 odds-on shots in the grade 2 and the listed race. So the first selection for me from the 2 that I've got at Warwick comes in the 355. It's a handicap chase, one of the better races on the card, really, in terms of competition and betting. A horse that I liked is Smarty Wild, who put it all together over fences last time at Kempton, and the main reason for that was that he jumped a lot better than he'd previously done over fences. And I think that Richard Johnson is learning about this horse all the time. The horse is obviously improving with chasing experience as well, but he took him wide at Kempton, as he did through the second half of the race at Ascot. And it has helped his jumping quite significantly. I think when he gets amongst horses, he tends to throw in a bad error, and he can basically just be beaten through those errors, as he effectively was at Wetherby and Ascot. I think he shaped very well in both of those races. He's up £7, and on the face of it, that £7 rise for that Kempton win isn't lenient. But if you look at the balance of his form, particularly some of the form that he showed over hurdles last season, he was 6th in a race at Kempton that's worked out very, very well. And that was off 132. So he's only £5 higher. If he can put in another clean round, then I think he's still well treated, just on the ability that he's got. And he seems to be going in the right direction all the time over fences. So that's Smarty Wild in the 355. He's joint favourite, but there's about 3 of them at about 11-2 at the moment. So I think that's a fair price. I wouldn't be surprised if he made it to outright favouritism at some point, although Old Grangewood does have a chance as well, definitely. So that's the 355. Now move on to the 430. A horse I like in this, one that I remember catching my eye last time, certainly at Huntingdon, a horse called Ballymilsey for Nigel Twiston-Davies. Now, it was a quite strongly run race and a good time figure at Huntingdon, so it's formed to look at positively, I think, between the front few. One of them's already come out and won in a handicap, the one that finished 5th. I think it was a Lucy Wadham horse, and it's form that already is looking quite solid. Paddy's Motorbike ran well in a handicap at Ascot next time. And Ballymilsey, he just really impressed me with the way he made his ground up through the second half of the race. Did it in the style of a strong stayer. It was sort of gradual grinding process the whole way, and he was really strong in the final stages on the run-in. So I expect that he'll be really well suited by going up in trip. It'll be testing ground, which I think will really suit him as well. He just looks a big sort of grinder to me. He's going to be a staying chaser in time, obviously. He's got a bit about him physically as well. So I'm hoping that a mark of 121, which is his opening mark, this is his handicap debut, will prove lenient, given that he's now stepping up in trip and he's likely to find some significant improvement for that. So that's Ballymilsey in I think it's the 6th race on the card, sorry, the 430. So those are my 2, Smarty Wild in the 355 and Ballymilsey in the 430 for me at Warwick. Now, we also have racing at Thurles, and I believe, Phil, after all my spiel there, you've got one to attack onto the end and probably give us the best chance of a winner on the day.
Oh, I won't be so sure about that. No, I thought it would be prudent just to pick one at Thurles, because it doesn't seem to be any doubt about that one going ahead. And also, we should just mention the 2 big races at Warwick, the Kingmaker and the listed mares hurdles. They're good quality races, but they've got odds-on favourites in both, and I wouldn't be rushing to oppose either. All Mankind in the Kingmaker's a very exciting chase. I think hopefully he'll look a really good sight over those 5 fences in the back straight. He was very good there on his chasing debut, and I think he'll take all the catching in that. And then you've got the French raider Paul Saga, a high-class French raider who looked way ahead on the racings in the listed mares race. So you wouldn't really oppose those, but they're there for all to see at the current odds-on shots. So 230 at Naas, it's a low-grade 2-mile handicap chase. Nowhere near as strong a contest as those 2 at Warwick, but it probably is a better betting heat. And there's the 14 runners I think you're probably safe to sort of put a line through a fair few of these. And as is often the case for this type of race, consistent performers are very thin on the ground. The three other market principals, actually, Espion de Cheney, Shopping Around, and the Chapel Field, they all came from a race at Naas in December where there were no fences jumped in the straight, which often produces sort of muddling form. Now, don't get me wrong, Shopping Around, I think, is an interesting horse, shaped better than the result that day. But even so, I suspect the sort of is not going to be missed in the betting, and I still think that's not a race to be drawing firm conclusions from. So bearing that in mind, I'm very much drawn towards Chalky White, who comes here with far more sort of consistent recent profile than most of these, and is on a generally upward sort of profile, progressive form as well. He won at Limerick on Boxing Day, and then he backed that up with a good effort in a much stronger handicap, went third at Naas last time, taking on much better horses than he'll be taking on in this race. And given, I think, that consistency, it counts for a lot in a race like this. And I've seen an early tissue, he's around 5-1, and I think he's very much the way to go in not a great race, but I think 5-1 is a decent bet. So Chalky White in the 2:30 at Thurles to go with Ben's 2 at Warwick.
Excellent, thanks, Phil. Hopefully it all goes ahead, and we'll see you next time on the Timeform tipping feed.